Okay, we're going to pick up where we left off. So when you open up Visual Studio, you get over here, you have your recent projects. Go ahead and click on Hello World, and we'll load what we finished last time. When you open this up, you'll see all the code. To get back to the design, click on Form 1 Design. Now, it's important to address this. You may be saying, I thought we named this Form Main. Why is it still Form 1? If you look over here in the Solution Explorer, under Form 1, we have the code for Form Main. Let's go ahead and rename this too. We're going to right-click on this one. We're going to go down to Rename. And remember, our abbreviation is FRM, and then we'll capitalize the first letter of the name, in this case, Main. So I'm going to go ahead and click over here. And we're good to go. Now, last time we made a button that allowed the user to exit, but we named the program Hello World. Let's make that actually do something. What we're going to do is we're going to use another string, and we're going to create a message box that displays the user's name. So let's go ahead and create a button that's going to do that. I'll just put that right over here. Maybe resize this a little bit so it looks somewhat, concise and, somewhat professional rather than ugly. Actually, I can do this right here. Now, we're also going to need a text box. So I'm going to go down here to text box, and I'm going to make it obviously larger so the user can see it. And now what I need to do is I need to name these buttons that I have. So I'm going to go over here. The text is going to be show message. Or I could say hello world, whatever. I also need to name the button, and I'm going to name the button the same as the text, but I'm going to use that abbreviation, BTN, and I'm going to type in show message. Now notice there's no space here in the actual name property. You cannot use spaces within the name. If you do, it's going to generate an error saying that space is not valid. So make sure when you're putting the name in, you don't have any spaces. And show message. Okay, now I need to name this text box. The name, I'm going to put text, and I'm going to type it in name, because the user is going to input a name there. I need to let the user know what to do with this text box. So I'm going to go up here, and here's my text. It's blank. I'm going to type in enter your name. Click over here. It shows up. We're good to go. So now when the program loads, you can hit F5 or start. This is what we will have. We have the text box that enter your name. They can type in whatever they want. For example, if their name is Richard, they can type in Richard. If I click show message, nothing's going to happen because we haven't entered any code. We're going to hit exit, yes, and the program shuts down. Now let's actually add some code. Now remember, when we double click on show message, it's going to bring up my code. And here's what I have. I have my private sub button show message click, letting us know that when the user clicks on it, something should happen. So what we want to do is we want the user's name to be displayed, which means we have no idea what they're going to type, so we need to create a variable. I'm going to go back up here to what's called my declarations section, and I'm going to create another variable. So this time, same thing as last time, dimensionalize, str, because we're using a string of letters, and I'm going to type in name, and I'm going to dimensionalize that as a string. So we're good to go. I'm going to scroll back down to the button show message, and we want the user's name to be displayed here when they click on that. So here's what we're going to do. The first thing we need to do is store the text information into the variable. So my variable is str name. I need it to equal what the user has typed into the text box. So remember, our text box was text name. Now I can't just write text name. Visual Basic wants to know what property of the text box do we want to use. Well, that's going to be text. So now my string name, my variable, whatever is in the text box text field, which is what the user will type in, is going to be stored in the str name variable. Now that it's holding a value, I can go ahead and call that value and have it be displayed. So this time I'm going to type in messagebox. And I don't need to store a response here because we're not going to ask the user a yes or no question. We're just going to display a name. So the only thing we need is OK. So I have my message box here with my quotes, and I'm going to type in hello world. This is, now I'm going to go outside the quotes. I'm going to create an ampersand, which means and I'm going to type in str name. Now, what I want to do here is add a space, so there's a space between is and the person's name. That's all I need. I'm going to go ahead and save my project. I'm going to hit F5 or start. I'm going to change this to, Richard or whatever the person's name is. When I click on show message, I should get a message box with an OK button because it's going to be OK by default. I don't need to specify that. It should say, hello world, this is, and then display Richard's name. And it does. Hello world, this is Richard. Now, if you don't put a space here after hello world, this is, if you don't put a space, Richard and is going to be right next to each other. It looks really bad. And a lot of people forget that extra space. So for example, if I go back to it real quick and I type in Richard and I click show message, it all runs together, and that looks really bad. So don't forget that extra space. And that's it for this lesson. So we learned how to dimensionalize another variable and actually pull that variable and display that in a message box. That's going to be it for this one. If you have any questions, leave a comment, and we're going to add more to this next time.